So I haven't had a job in about 2 years, and when people find out this fun fact, they have questions. They have questions like, what do you do all day? And how do you afford to eat? So yeah, the first thing I did was I made some coffee, and then I sat out on the back porch and stared into the woods for a while. But today is a very busy day. First of all, I have to make some chickpea salad. The chickpea Mediterranean salad, my award-winning chickpea Mediterranean salad. You can catch the video, and the reason I want to make that is because once I have that chickpea Mediterranean salad, it's really easy to make Pam's lunches. Because another thing I do, since I don't have a job to keep me busy, one thing I do is make Pam lunch every day because she does have a job. Gets back to question number 2, how do we afford to eat? Between the money I make as a YouTube celebrity and the money Pam makes at her real job, actually this is 0. This is more. That's how we afford to eat. So it's the least I can do to feed her. I have to go get some cherry tomatoes though to make that. So I'm off to the store. I'm also going to, since I'm off to the store, I'm also going to return this Amazon thing we bought. We bought these vacuum bags for traveling. We had borrowed some vacuum bags, and we thought these are great. So we went bought our own from Amazon, and they came in this box. And as soon as we opened it, we knew that they had been used, which we were going to use them, so that's all right that they've been used. But then we tried to suck the air out of them with the machine, and they had a hole in it, so that was ridiculous. So first thing, go to the store, get some cherry tomatoes, and return the package. Then we'll make some chickpea salad. Anyway, let's get started. Okay, so I'm back from Winn-Dixie, where I returned that Amazon package and picked up some grape tomatoes. And I go in there with the package, and I don't really know where to return it to. There's the customer service desk, but I don't see anything that says Amazon, but the manager's there. And so like the cool thing about getting older is you can just be the confused old guy. So I'm like, I heard I could return this package. And he's like, yes, it's the machine over there in the corner. And I was like, oh, a machine? He's like, yes, have you started the process? Do you have a QR code? And he's like, do you know what a QR code is? And I'm like, I'm old. So I started telling him about, in my time, how the Sears and Roebuck wagon would come into town whenever we ordered anything. He didn't seem that interested, but he did steer me to the machine. I did know what a QR code was. But it is cool to get that extra attention. If I really want attention, then I do things like wear my slippers to the store to let them know I'm really confused. Also, while I was at the store, I needed some grape tomatoes for that Mediterranean chickpea salad I'm making. So I got these, and if you can see, it says organic. This kind of gets back to that question about how do I afford to eat. It's kind of cool how my stories all the loose ends are coming together. So I went looking for grape tomatoes, and I didn't see any. And the produce manager was there stocking the shelves, and he said, can I help you with something? And I'm like, I'm just a confused old guy. I'm looking for the grape tomatoes. All I see is organic. And he said, yeah, we don't have any regular grape tomatoes. We're sold out. So I can sell you these organic ones at the regular price. And I said, oh, that would be fantastic. Thank you. And he goes, it's actually a 2-for-1 deal. So I got 2 containers of organic grape tomatoes for the price of 1. And I said to the guy, I said, wow, that's really good. And he said, yeah, it's actually a great deal. And I said, you could even say it's a grape deal. He had a slightly annoyed look on his face after that. I was afraid he was going to take the offer away, but instead he just directed me to the cash register, told me to tell them at the cash register to make the price adjustment. I thought it was funny. Anyway, I'm going to make the salad, and since there's already a video on how to do that, I'll show it to you when I start the camera again. So here's the finished product. It's delicious. And as you regular viewers know, the great thing about this Mediterranean chickpea salad is that it saves me a lot of time, because my job is to make Pam lunch every day. And when I have this salad, all I have to do is chop up some of these greens, and rather than adding in peppers and avocados or whatever I can find, I have this big batch of pre-made dressing topping for the salad, so I don't have to chop up a bunch of stuff. It's all done for the whole week, which frees up time for all my other hobbies. You might say hobbies. What hobbies do you have, Tom? Well, I do yoga, which, as you know, if you do yoga, you have to announce it whenever anybody asks, or even if they don't ask. It's just one of the rules. It's kind of like if you do CrossFit, or if you're a sovereign citizen, or a vegan. You know, you just have to interject it. You know, as a vegan, I wouldn't eat that feta cheese. My friend found out I hadn't been working for a couple of years. We hadn't seen each other in a while. And he's like, well, what do you do? Seems to be a common question. What do you do? And I said, well, I do yoga. But I also told him that I play some tennis. Not much, but a little bit. And he said, oh, that's good. Tennis is good. But, you know, all that side to side running around, as you get older, it gets harder and harder to do tennis. He recommended I do golf because even if you lose some mobility and, you know, strength, as long as you can hit the ball straight. This is probably a good idea for him because he lives on a golf course. But I said that's kind of an expensive hobby. All I have to do is, you know, roll out my mat and strike a pose. And really, I can't even admit to my wife how much the camera cost that she allowed me to buy. How am I going to go and tell her that I bought a $3,000 driver just so I could try to shave a point off my golf game? So for me, no golf. Okay, check it out. All I do is scoop some of this stuff on. And as I mentioned in other videos, this cool thing about this salad here, the longer it sits in the vinegar and oil dressing, the better it tastes. So it's even going to be better tomorrow. You know what? I need one more scoop. Some moldy croutons to finish it off, and I am officially the best husband ever. Now I gotta clean the dishes. Actually, I feel that no one does the dishes as well as I do, and certainly no one puts the dishes in the dishwasher the correct way. So I laid down the law. I said, Pam, I am the man of the house. You have to listen to me, and I forbid you from doing the dishes because I don't like the way you do it. And she was really crestfallen. She was like, well, you are the man, I have to obey you. So she knew that I was going to do the dishes, and there was no two ways about it. I mean, she probably doesn't like it, but that's the way it's going to be around here. So it looks like the answer to what do I do all day is that I help Pam keep the house running. I mean, if she's going to fight the corporate machine all day, the least I can do is cook up some chicken. Tomorrow's going to be yard work day, but since I've already done some meal prep, there's probably going to be some goof off time in the schedule tomorrow. I mean, after morning yoga, of course. I do yoga.